kids. Welcome to your Week 2 recap and your Week 3 preview all in one shot. Apologize for the lateness of the post. Your commissioner was in Chicago all week, but he's back in his office now, so let's get right into it. Starting off with our Week 2 recap. At the bottom, it was your commissioner taking on McGrath and losing by about 40 points. McGrath was powered by Carson Palmer, Travis Benjamin, Greg Olds, and Isaiah Crowell. Each played very well. Your commissioner's only real saving grace were his Jets on Thursday night. Matt Forte put up 32, Brandon Marshall put up 16. Everybody else really sucked. Moving on to our next game, it was Ryan McCallum sneaking past Dan Jensen by about a dozen. Ryan had big days from Blake Bortles and Eric Decker, while Jensen had nice play from Tyrod Taylor and Jimmy Garoppolo and only a half of play. Would have been interesting to see how this one turned out if Garoppolo had a full game underneath him, but he gets hurt in the first half of that game and does not return. Next up, no surprise here, we have TJ beating Walter by about 70 points. TJ was again powered by his wide receivers, Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Evans, and Jordy Nelson. While Walter really only had his quarterbacks going well for him, Marcus Mariota and Kirk Cousins. He did have the Raiders defense, which lost him 5.2 points. All right. Our next matchup features Patrick Troy taking on Dan McCallum, with McCallum winning by about 35 points. Troy really had decent quarterback play. Andy Dalton, Brian Fitzpatrick each put up about 24. Frank Gore and Demaryius Thomas put up about 13 for him. McCallum, on the other hand, pretty well done throughout. Had 6 guys in double digits, which is always helpful. Stephon Diggs, with a big night, put up 31 points on Sunday night against the Packers. We had Sokol taking on Cole in our Young Guns game. Cole won this one by about 40 some odd points. Sokol's really only great player was Cam Newton, put up I think 350 and 4 touchdowns or so, totaling 40 points. Cole had a nice play from Phillip Rivers and Derek Carr. Each one put up 31, as well as Kelvin Benjamin put up nearly 30 points. Finally, in what was touted to be our game of the week, we had Jack taking on Connor. However, Jack ran away with this one early, beating Connor by about 50 points, 165 to 116. Jack had a nice play from Matt Ryan and Joe Flacco, D'Angelo Williams, it's going to run out soon, and Sterling Shepard, CJ Anderson. Coyle had decent production from David Johnson. That's really it. His quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers and Andrew Luck, put up 15 and 12. Pretty disappointing weeks again for those guys. Hopefully they can bounce back, and Connor will be all right. All right, let's get into our weekly rewards. First up, we have MVP. This one shouldn't come as any surprise. Cam Newton finished 24-40, 353 yards, 4 touchdowns. I think he also added about 40 yards on the ground, which he does just about every week, totaling 40.8 points. Our double dip of the week is going to go to McCallum's Minnesota Vikings, Sam Bradford and Stephon Diggs. Bradford went 22 of 31, 286 yards and 2 touchdowns. Diggs caught 9 of those balls for 182 yards and a touchdown. Together they put up 54.8 points in beating the shit out of my Packers. So, good luck to McCallum. Our worst of the week is going to go to Walter's Oakland Raider defense. Good call on this one, Walt. They gave up 35 points, only had 1 interception and 1 sack. That's going to lose you points just about every time. So, nice job on that one. Wouldn't have helped him though because he lost by 7 points. All right, let's move on to our notes and numbers for this week. First up, pretty much a repeat from last week in terms of our interdivision play. Brooke Wild went 1 for 5 against the Katie Cummings division. Our only win this week came in the hands of, again, Jack Murray, who moves to 2-0, while the rest of the division moves to 0-2. Katie Cummings is now 10-2 against Brooke Wild so far this season. We've got 3 more weeks of interdivision play before we enter divisional games through the end of the year. So it could end up being Jack at 5-0 and already clinching basically with the rest of the division at 0-5. We'll never know. We had our first trade of the season go down. Our two young guns who happened to be playing this week, so it was a little interesting. Sokol and Cole. Sokol sent Sproles through to Cole, who sent Wheaton, that's Marcus Wheaton, back to Sokol. Pretty balanced trade, I'd say. Kind of two guys that are close to being on the waiver wire every week. Again, with trades, guys, if you want to push through right away, I didn't see this until Tuesday, which is when I approved it. But if you need to push through immediately, just let me know and I'll do that. Otherwise, you'll get it when you get it. All right, waiver wire pickups this week. There were about a dozen that processed on Wednesday morning. I'll run through the ones that I thought were a bit intriguing. Sokol added Cameron Payne. I think he's going to be the starter in Carolina until Jonathan Stewart gets back. Dropped Marshawn Lynch, so that didn't work out for you. It was a good try, though. Murray added Dennis Pitta, who had a big week from the Ravens. He's playing again after being out of the league for 2 years or so with that injury. Ryan added Fozzie Whitaker. I guess he thinks that Whitaker's going to be the Carolina running back. I disagree. He dropped Eli Rogers, who had a disappointing week in Pittsburgh. Who the fuck's DR? Walter added Kenyon Drake. Looks like he might be the starter in Miami this week. Dropped James Starks. So if you're a AWAC owner, you might want to hop on Starks. Nobody else really that matters. Sokol added Matt Asiata with the Adrian Peterson news this week. Your commissioner added Dwayne Washington because I think he's going to be the starter in Detroit now that Amir Abdullah is on the DL. All right, there were a slew of injuries this week. I'm not going to name all of them because I'm not going to show you screenshots of all of them because there's just too many to go through. I'll run down them quickly though. Guys that might be returning in a couple weeks: Jonathan Stewart, Doug Martin, Arian Foster. They didn't really know their timetables. Garoppolo went down. I think his reign in New England's over. Guys out for the year: Woodhead, Amir Abdullah. I don't know what the deal with Moncrief is yet. Adrian Peterson had that torn meniscus. I've heard conflicting reports. Could be 6 months, could be 2 weeks. Nobody really seems to know what the fuck is going on with that one. All right, let's get to our power rankings. Couple changes here, nothing too graphic. At the top, Jack and Coyle switch places. Jack beat up on Coyle this week, so that just makes sense. Still think Coyle's team is pretty good, though, so I'm going to leave him up at number 2. 3 and 4, TJ and McAllen going to stay in place. Cole, Ryan, and McGrath both jump up a spot or 2. Troy, who lost big this week, is going to drop down 3 slots. Big regression from last week. Sokol, who also lost this week, is going to drop down a spot. We're going to leave Jensen right where he is in the 10th spot. And your commissioner and Walt exchange places. So your commissioner's at 11, Walt's at 12. Walt's team sucks. Your commissioner's team sucks. It's really going to be a battle for that last place spot. Something of note, though, with the exception of Jack at the top, the other 5 members of the Brookwild division are the last 5 on the list here. So that should tell you all you really need to know. All right, let's get to our Week 3 preview. First up, we have your commissioner taking on Coyle. This one's slated to be a blowout. Coyle looks to be about a 20-some-odd point favorite. With our games last night, I should say, Gostowski got Coyle 9 points, and Edelman only got me 7. I was really hoping Edelman got some quarterback play and some passing touchdowns. Didn't work out for me. Next up, we have Cole taking on Walt. Cole looks to be about a 12-point favorite or so. Had Will Fuller go last night, didn't do well, only got him 4.6 points. Walt really needs to put up some big points in order to stay relevant in this one. Next up, we have Troy taking on Ryan McAllen this week. Ryan looks to be about a 2-point favorite. So this one's going to come down to the wire, I'd say. He had Tyler Lockett. He had the Texans defense go last night. Gave up 27 points and only scored 3 for him. I don't think anybody really saw that coming from Jacoby Brissett, whatever the fuck his name is, but I guess Belichick is just that good. Next up, we got McGrath taking on Sokol. Sokol had Lamar Miller put up 12 points for him last night. McGrath only had Brock Osweiler put up 7.1. It looks like Sokol's about a 5-point favorite at this point. That might change as we get closer to game time. We'll see how that one progresses. We got our Falcons. Jensen taking on TJ this week. Jensen got 14 points from the aforementioned Jacoby Brissett. TJ got about 8 points from DeAndre Hopkins and 17 from the Patriots defense. So that was a big bump. He is now a 13-point favorite over Jensen. We'll see how that one changes as we get closer to game time as well. Finally, what's going to be our game of the week pretty much until Jack loses. Jack takes on McAllen, with McAllen actually being a 6-point favorite at this point. Probably because Jack got 0 points from tight end Rob Gronkowski last week. I agree that he should have been played. If you got him, you got to play him. But I think it was all bullshit and talk from Belichick to kind of make people think that Gronk was back when he really wasn't. All right, I think that's all I got for now. It was a good week 2. Let's move on to week 3. Make sure you set your lineups. If you have any players or people that you think should be nominated for our weekly awards, MVP, Doofus, Double Dip, whatever it is, just send it my way. Chances are I missed them. No matter what, I know that Brook Wild Division's struggling right now. Gotta remember, gotta keep our composure.
Right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've gotta keep our composure! We've gone too far! There's too much to lose! We've gotta keep our composure!
Alright, there's a lot of time left, a lot of interdivision games, so you never know what might happen. But otherwise, set your lineups, have a good weekend. That's all for now. Peace!